I actually started SportsExcel just over 30 years ago. It was really to fill up a gap which I felt there was in Malaysian sports. The gap was, it was all our best young players, and I'm talking about 16, 17, 18-year-olds in any sport, were playing each other, the peers, too seldom. The National School Sports Council, or with Bahasa they call it MSSM, they did once a year carnival type of event, and that was it. And I felt that how can an up and coming sportswoman or man be really competitive internationally if they only really play their own peers once a year? So we devised this I thought of this organization which I call SportsExcel, or in Bahasa it's Yayasan Kecemarangan Sukan Malaysia. 100% private sector funded. We started off with about a fundraising effort, and then we got 25 charter members, or they're basically their members or supporters, who paid 25,000 ringgit a year. So there was a lot of money to start off with. We went in for the underfunded sports. So we avoided football, hockey, badminton. And so we went for little sports like squash, golf, which were not very well funded, bowling, and where we knew that the organizations were well run, and there was enough activity to sort of warrant the support. And we started these leagues, basically, which were, some were 8 to 10 events a year, some were 6 events a year, but, with all culminating in the grand final. And most of our events were not just normal, for instance, knockout, where once you're knocked out, you only play, you've only played one match. It was like 3 days of everyone being able to play everyone. So the winner would play as many games as someone who had lost in the first game. So it was like, and so they would all can rank themselves amongst their peers, and soon it became very competitive. Our biggest successes early on was Nicol David in squash. Squash were sort of growing so rapidly, and of course I was very much involved in squash. I was the then president of Malaysian squash, and we were sending kids to the British Open and a lot of overseas tournaments, and Nicol was one of them. And we actually persuaded one of another one of my companies. I was CEO of Anta Group then, Anta Holdings, Pepsi, to establish a squash center, a public squash courts in Penang, which is now called the Nicol David Squash. It's now called the Nicol David Squash Center. But that's where she started. And really, I think the squash racket was almost taller than her when she started. But what a talent! And as you know, she just went on to win eight world championships and became the GOAT, the GOAT, the greatest of all time squash player, voted by her own professionals, girls and boys, so men and women squash players, past and present, voted her as the greatest of all time, which is an incredible achievement. So she was probably top of the list, but we've had world champions like Shalin, Zulkifli in bowling. We've had a lot of golfers, including Gavin Green, who's on the DP circuit at the moment. He's our probably top golfer, but we've had Ashley Lau, who went through our golf program, and also we managed to get a scholarship to the Hills Academy in Australia, where she spent 2 years, and now a lot of them now have used their results in SportsExcel to get to US universities on sports scholarships. So the Scotch players have done that, and the golfers have done that, and I think others will follow. And we try and innovate. We're trying to put in much more emphasis onto international participation. One of our new ones has been US kids golf events, where they're everything from 8 years old, right through to 18, and the winner will finally go to Pinehurst, in golf club in the USA for the final on a worldwide basis. So it's we're now well recognized as an organization that will, of which people will talk to in order to be able to organize, for even their kids, international, other kids to come to Malaysia to now participate. A good example is the Hainan Golf Association, Hainan being the province and island in China. They, once a year, every other year, we have a tournament there for our juniors and their juniors, and then a tournament here for their juniors and our juniors, and now internationals are coming into, other than the two countries. So it's a wonderful organization that we've started, and I must say that it's value for money for the investor and the sponsor. We have four people. Only four executive directors that have ever run, that have run the organization. The first two died in office, unfortunately. I hope it wasn't that we were overworking them. And we've had Mr. Teng, and now we have Siva, who's really done a fantastic job, and I really commend him. The other thing that we are working with is with Yayasan Sandabi, and the main event there is the cycling. We just started a track cycling series at the Nilai Velodrome, the National Velodrome in Nilai, in Negeri Sembilan, and I think we have over 67 or something events, days of cycling events, cycling, track cycling, and it has become so popular that I think that track cycling, which started off with Dr. Azizul really blazing the trail, but that's something that we and Yayasan Samdadi have worked together on, and we continue to work on other sports and other events with YSD, of which, by the way, it sounds so incestuous, doesn't it? Of which, by the way, I am the chairman, so I have to sort of say that, so that but yeah, it's SportsExcel. I think it's there to stay. It innovates every year. It's even brave enough to drop sports that are not really pulling their weight and bringing new sports on. As I said, we got track cycling, we got BMX, and one of the nice things about Yayasan Samdabi and their sports is they also support the women very, very much, and we do a lot of management of events for them in SportsExcel, and they're backing the women's cricket, they're backing women's rugby. So I mean, they're very keen into sport, and they make very good partners for us. Well, I estimated about 65,000 young people have come through our doors and gone up. Many, have just played, but the very good ones, I think, have fulfilled their potential. I mean, that's what we are there for. Is really not necessarily to make them into champions. We just want every Malaysian who has that capability, who has a dream, to really get that dream, make that dream come true, just like Nicol. And that's what it's there for in the SportsExcel.